What's up, nerds? Today is part 2 of our EX4 set review. We should be able to get through the rest of the set in this video, so let's get to it. Alright, starting off with our green rookies, we have Digimon. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 2-color green card and 1 tamer card with Henry Wong and its name among them to your hand. Place the rest of the bottom of the deck in any order. The inheritable, wow, that's a lot of words. Your turn, when you suspend a Digimon for an alliance skill, you may digivolve this Digimon into a 2-color green Digimon card in your hand, paying its digivolution cost. When this Digimon would digivolve with this effect, reduce the digivolution cost by 2. Okay, so this is how they digivolve while attacking, so that's why everything's end of turn. I mean, that seems pretty cool. It's definitely a new, unique, like, suspension, cheap and Evo thing for green. I like the search effect. The fact that it adds any 2-color green card's pretty cool, so that includes any options or tamers as well. I can't think of an option off the top of my head unless there's maybe there's one in this set that's 2 colors and also has a green color in it. This is definitely a 4 though. This is a very solid card for clearly this alliance archetype. Moving on to Digimon Assistant. This card Digimon is also treated as Digimon. Okay, that's an interesting artwork, by the way. Your turn, when an effect suspends this Digimon, one of your Digimon gets plus 4,000 DP for the turn, so that makes whatever you're swinging with Alliance get that much bigger, dies to less security checks. And then the inheritable is literally the exact same thing as Digimon. Definitely a very good card. This is also a 4. Well, I'm going to give this a 3.5. The effect is not quite as good as the Digimon, but the inheritable is very good. So I'm going to give this 3.5. I'm liking how this Alliance deck is coming together. Then we have an adorable little Lopmon. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 2-color green card, 1 tamer card with a Shuchong Wong and its name among them to your hand. Place the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. And then the inheritable is literally the same thing. I'm going to give this a solid 4 as well. This clearly searches, I believe there is a dual tamer with Shuchong and Henry Wong on it. So both this and the Digimon both search that tamer as well as other stuff. Definitely a solid 4. I'm digging the Digimon in the background. Yeah, this Alliance deck's starting to come together. Moving on to Black Gargomon. Digivolves for 3 on green or black, and then also Digivolves for 2 if the level 3 name contains Lopmon or Digimon. So that's like Digimon Assistant, if we ever get a Lopmon X antibody or anything like that. It's pretty cool. It just has Alliance, which is pretty good. And then the inheritable is your turn once per turn. When an effect suspends Digimon in play, this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP for the turn. That's pretty good. That's not restricting to just your stuff. Like, you could suspend your opponent's Digimon with something and get the plus 2,000 DP. I'm going to give this a 3.5. Moving on to Black Rapidmon. This looks pretty sick. I'm digging this artwork. Digivolves for 4 on red or black, and green or black. Also has Alliance. End of attack, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. That's pretty nice. De-digivolve is a very strong mechanic. Obviously, it's getting that because of the half black part. And then the inheritable is your turn once per turn. When an effect suspends Digimon in play, this Digimon gains piercing for the turn. That seems pretty good. I'm going to give this a 4 as well. That's a really strong effect. Yeah, I like this Alliance deck. Actually doesn't look like it's too bad. We'll see though. I don't think it can hang with like the other tier 1 decks. It'll probably be like tier 1.5, 2-ish. It'll be able to beat up on like kind of mediocre decks in my opinion. And then we have Black Mega Gargomon. Digivolves for 5 on green or black, and Evos for 4 on a level 5 if it's a 2-color green Digimon, or if the name contains Rapidmon. I like that. That's really cool. Notice it has 13,000 DP. If you guys watched yesterday's video, Gray Knightsmon or whatever it's called only has 12k and its effect is mediocre. I mentioned the 13k DP threshold for most level 6's Evo for 5. Let's see. Effect is end of your turn. Once per turn, 2 of your green and or black Digimon in play gain blocker and reboot until the end of your opponent's turn. That's what this deck needed. Okay. It's all coming together now. Yeah, that is very good. And then all turns, once per turn, when another Digimon in play becomes suspended, you may unsuspend this Digimon. Yeah, that's really good. And that's just like every single turn. That's a really good card. I'm gonna give this a 4.5. Like this card right here is probably what makes the entire Alliance archetype possible, and this is a really strong effect. Like just giving 2 of your green and or black Digimon in play blocker and reboots within your turn every single turn, so that includes itself. This card as a standalone card is really good. Like, yeah, this is a strong 4.5. This is a really good card. Moving on to our rookies for the Alter S deck. These guys both have basically the same effect, so we'll just rate them both together. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Agumon adds a Greymon card, as well as a card with Gabumon, Garurumon, or Omnimon in its name. And then Gabumon adds a Garurumon card, or an Agumon, and an Agumon, Greymon, or Omnimon card in its name. What's cool about these is it puts the remaining cards back on top of your deck, which for those of you that don't know about this deck, like that's actually really, really good because this deck is a combo deck. It functions similarly to Ragnarlordmon, where you need to know what's on top of your deck because it's so combo centric that like you're probably not going to have all those cards in your hands. Being able to stack your deck and then like, you know, wombo combo and like draw into your pieces as you're going up your chain, definitely necessary. And the inheritable on both of them is once per turn, your turn. When one of your other Digimon in play digivolves, gain 1 memory. I'm gonna give both of these a 4. These are definitely very good cards. Honestly, this Agumon could be played in a black-based Greymon tribal deck, and it would be a pretty good inclusion. The fact that it searches Greymon and Omnimon, it's basically a power creeped BT5 Agumon. The inheritable probably won't come up very often in a Greymon tribal deck, but it definitely could. And BT5 Agu doesn't have an inheritable, so like, there's no loss there. Yeah, both of these are definitely a 4. I also really like their artwork. They look pretty sick. Moving on to our Skull Knightmon. We have Evos for 3 on black or blue. On play, if you don't have a Nene Amano, however you say that card in play, you may play one from your hand without paying its memory cost. Pretty good. Let's just play your Tamer for free. They're introducing more and more of those cards. On deletion, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is Blue Flare Twilight in its traits, add it to your hand, trash the rest. And the inheritable is Reboot. This is probably a 3.5. Like, you probably are playing this in some number in Twilight from here on out. I don't think Blue Flare / Twilight decks are going to be a thing, at least successfully. So I don't foresee you trying to mishmash that, but this card, just being able to just play Nene out for free is definitely good, and only being a 4 cost to play. Let's see, a Deadly Axemon, Evos for 3 on black or blue, play cost 4. On play, by trashing 1 card with Blue Flare or Twilight in its traits, draw 2. Definitely good draw power, trashing cards you don't need in your hand. And then on deletion, same thing, reveal top card of your deck. If it's Blue Flare or Twilight, add it to your hand, trash the rest. And then the inheritables all turns, its Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. Very good inheritable. All turns DP gains are typically very strong. I'm gonna give this a 3.5 as well. It's not gonna like break the deck or anything or be like a super strong piece, but this is probably gonna be running some number. And then we have Dark Maildramon, Evos for 3 on black or blue, and then play cost is 4. Your turn, this Digimon and all Digimon with Nightmon or Nightspawn in the name can't be blocked. That's pretty dumb. I'm really thankful this doesn't have Blue Flare or Twilight in its traits, because I think being able to just like poop this out would be pretty unfair. The ability to just blanket give all your stuff, the ability to not be blocked is really strong. Although I don't know if you'd be able to play this card because it doesn't have Blue Flare or Twilight in the traits. Like, I don't know if you'd be able to play it. I'm gonna give this a 3. Just for the fact that I don't think there's enough synergy, surprisingly, just because of the type it is. This could have been very good, though. This would have been a 4 if it just had Twilight in the traits. Moving on to a Garurumon. I will rate Garurumon and Greymon together as well, since they're basically the same. They mirror each other. Garurumon's got some crazy eyes going there. The effects are, you may Digivolve, or when Digivolving, you may Digivolve one of your other Digimon into a level 6 or lower Digimon card with the Evo into the opposite, Greymon, Garurumon, Greymon, blah, blah, blah. In its name, in your hand for its Digivolution cost. When Digivolving, with this effect, reduce the Digivolution cost by 2. It's really interesting that it's like pay the cost, but not really. I feel like they probably could have shortened this by just saying for a cost reduced by 2 or something like that. Like they could have removed like probably a whole sentence worth of words off the effect if they just reworded it. And the inheritable is reboot. Really good effect, just generically. I'm not going to rate these together because Greymon actually could be played in Greymon tribal decks that are black based, where Garurumon does not have a home outside of the Alter S deck currently. I'm going to give Greymon a 3.5 and Garurumon a 3. Greymon is really good because it just gives you reboot. So like you could play this in Black War Greymon and just constantly have reboot and not have to worry about like evoing into Black War X or Gaiomon to keep your Black War from getting swung back into. So yeah, 3 for the Guru and 3.5 for Greymon. On to Metal Greymon. And we actually will do Were Garurumon and Metal Greymon together. Well, no, we're gonna have to rate these separately as well, just because Metal can be played in Black War decks. They both have the same effect, just like the rest of them. They both have blocker, then when Digivolve, you may Digivolve one of your other Digimon into a level 6 or lower Digimon card with the opposite name in your hand for its cost, and then reduce the cost by 2. The inheritable is blocker. I'm going to give the Metal Greymon 3.5 and the Were Garurumon a 3. Just because, like I said, you can play this in Black War, and just generically having a blocker is pretty strong as an inheritable. Moving on to Dark Knightmon. Evos for 4 on a black or blue. On play, one of your Digimon gains blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. Then if Digicrossing, Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Pretty good effect. On deletion, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Blue Flare or Twilight in its traits among them to your hand. Trash the rest. So you can only add 1 of the 2. And then Digicross -2, Skull Knightmon, Deadly Axemon. So you can play this for 4, potentially. And then the inheritable is opponent's turn once per turn when your opponent's Digimon attacks. If this Digimon is Grey Knightsmon, you may switch the target of the attack to this Digimon. So it's blocking without blocking, although you do have to play Grey Knightsmon in order to get that effect. I feel like this is a 3. This is basically like the stuff they already have in the Twilight deck. No, I'll give it a 3.5. This is slightly better support, despite the inheritable being basically blank, because I don't think you'd play Grey Knightsmon in any of those decks. Moving on to Gaiomon. I am very excited for this card. This evos for 4 on black or red. It's always treated as having Greymon in its name. So this does not have an alternate evo cost on top of Black or Greymon, for those of you that don't notice. Like the other Gaiomon that we already have. The effect is when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 13 or more, so all the big boys. That's all level 7s, and that's a lot of big level 6s. If no Digimon is deleted by this effect, trash the top card of your opponent's security. That's really good. So either way, something's happening when you evo into this guy. And then, end of turn, if you have a Tamer in play, you may Digivolve this Digimon into a card with Gaiomon in its name with a play cost of 13 or more from your hand without paying its Digivolution cost and ignoring Digivolution requirements, which you would obviously have to. You could straight up just build a Gaiomon deck from here on out, and I actually intend on tinkering with that, and it would be pretty ignorant. Hypothetically, you evo into this guy, you either delete or trash the security, and then you proc the end of turn effect, evo into the other Gaiomon that we got in BT9, which is the only target currently we have that's a cost of 13 or more in Gaiomon in name. You de-evo something, you blitz, and then you also have reboot and security attack +1. You're probably like busting up a board as well as doing pretty significant security damage just off of evo into this guy and then evo into Gaiomon. I'm really excited for this card. This card's a 4 because of the when Digivolving effect is so strong. Like, even if you're not playing Gaiomon, which I feel like you would want to play BT9 Gaiomon if you were playing this card, but even if you weren't playing BT9 Gaiomon, this would still be a very good card. Moving on to Crest Garurumon. This is one of the megas from the Alter S deck. Evos for 4 on black or blue, or evos for 3 on Were Garurumon. Not Were Garurumon X, specifically Were Garurumon, so be aware of that. When Digivolving, activate one of the effects below. While those words are small, what is this Yu-Gi-Oh? Choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose play costs add up to 6 or less and return the chosen Digimon to the bottom of their owner's deck. Bot decking stuff's pretty strong. It just kind of sucks that it's limited by play cost of 6 or less. Although if they would have made that any higher, it probably would have been pretty broken. DNA Digivolve this Digimon and one of your other Digimon in play into a Digimon card in your hand for the cost. Currently, no DNA Digimon have a cost. I don't think they ever will, although they always have to say that, I guess, in case they decide to make them have a cost. You may Digivolve one of your other Digimon in play into a level 6 or lower Digimon card with Greymon in its name in your hand without paying its memory cost. So you activate one of the effects below, and then the inheritable is when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has Omnimon in its name, return one of your opponent's level 5 or lower to the bottom of its owner's deck. That's pretty sick. For the deck, I'm going to give this 3.5. This is really strong in the deck itself. Outside the deck, I don't think you would play this. I don't think this is a standalone card that you would want to run in like a Garurumon tribal deck or something like that, just because, like, yeah, none of the effects are strong enough to warrant that, but it is a pretty good card within its own archetype. Moving on to Shadow Seraphimon. Evos for 4 on black or yellow, or Digivolves 1 from Seraphimon. The effects are opponent's turn. When a card is removed from your security stack, de-Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Notice that is not once per turn. So assuming your opponent can't out this before they start swinging at your stuff, you can just be like, all right, de-Evo. De-Evo. Pretty good effect. And then on deletion, recovery +1. Then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for the turn for each card in your security stack. That's pretty stupid. That's a really good effect. So basically, if they do deal with it, they're probably losing the dude that dealt with it, assuming they didn't use an option. I'm going to give this a 4.5. This is going to be pretty annoying to play against. On to Blitz Greymon. Blitz Greymon Evos for 4 on black or red, or for 3 from Metal Greymon, specifically not Metal Greymon X. And then when Digivolving, activate one of the effects below. Digivolve 3 of your opponent's Digimon. You may Digivolve one of your Digimon into blah blah blah, or DNA Digivolve this into blah blah blah. And then the inheritable is when attacking once per turn, if the Digimon has Omnimon in its name, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. This is a 4. And this is a 4 specifically because you can play this in Greymon tribal decks. So this is basically the same as the entire Greymon line for the Alter S deck. It can be played outside of the Alter S archetype and be successful somewhat. So I'm going to give this a 4. This is a really good effect. Like, if someone pops off on you and gets Alter S out, you probably lose. But good news is it's basically like playing Ragna Tribal, where like they probably already lost before they ever got to their combo. Moving on to our purple cards, we have Fake Agumon Expert. The effect is opponent's turn once per turn. When your opponent's Digimon is deleted by trashing one Digimon card with the same level as that Digimon from your hand, draw 2. This is just as bad as the yellow Agumon Expert. This is a solid one. Moving on. Falcomon on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 purple Digimon card with Ravamon in its name, or Bird or Avion in one of its traits, and 1 Keenan Crier, interesting name, among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. On deletion, if this card was deleted other than by battle, your opponent trashes 1 card from their hand. I'm going to give this a 3. Obviously, you have to play this in this Ravamon archetype. God, those eyes, man. He looks wild. It's a good generic searcher for the archetype, an okay on deletion effect, I guess. It's obviously played in 4 in that archetype, so. Then moving on to Wendigomon. Evos for 3 on purple or green, or Digivolves 2 if name contains a Lopmon or Terriermon, has Alliance. Inheritable is end of attack once per turn. If you have another suspended Digimon in play, return 1 green Digimon card from your trash to your hand. Ooh, that's pretty good. So that's the entire Alliance deck, right? Because it's either yellow, green, green, yellow, or purple, green. Yeah, as far as I know, it's like the entire deck. That's really good. I'm gonna give this 3.5. Just because, like, obviously you can't play this outside of the Alliance deck. So yeah, 3.5. That's a really good card for the archetype, though, for sure. All right, moving on to Peckmon. When Digivolving, if you don't have a Keenan Crier card in play, you may play 1 from your hand without paying its memory cost. Playing Timer for free. Cool. Inheritable on deletion, if this card was deleted other than by battle, your opponent trashes 1 card in their hand. Interesting. So this archetype is kind of like a hand control sort of thing. I'm gonna give this a 3.5. I'm gonna give it a 3. Being able to play your Tamer for free is obviously really good, but yeah, other than the archetype, like, obviously you can't play this outside of it. Moving on to Chromon. When attacking, if you have a purple Tamer in play, you may Digivolve this Digimon into a Ravamon in your hand, paying its Digivolution cost. Okay. Then on deletion, if this card was deleted other than by battle, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Now, I'll give this 3.5. This is probably what allows you to even play the archetype itself, because it lets you swing basically a turn early. Moving on to Antilamon. Evos for 4 on purple or green, or 3 from a level 4 2-color green Digimon card. Has Alliance, has End of Attack. You may play 1 green level 3 Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. That's pretty good. Then End of Attack, once per turn, if you have another suspended Digimon in play, return 1 green Digimon card from your trash to your hand. That's a 4. But yeah, the recursion from the trash is really strong. I don't think green needed that. This is kind of a dangerous card to print, and the fact that it doesn't keep you from proccing the on play, yeah, that's a really good card. Moving on to Ravamon. Evos for 3 on a purple level 5, jamming. Okay. End of Attack by deleting this, so that keeps you from dying to security checks, which is good. Okay. I was worried about that, because obviously the entire archetype is like, if you die in battle, you don't get your effects. Okay. End of Attack by deleting this Digimon that had a Digivolution card with Bird or Avian in one of its traits. Play 1 Ravamon from your trash at the end of your opponent's turn without paying its memory cost. On deletion, if your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, your opponent trashes 1 card in their hand. Then if they have 7 or less cards in their hand, your opponent adds a top card of their security stack to their hand. The full line, if it dies, it potentially trashes 3 cards in your opponent's hand and makes them add a card from their security stack to their hand. Let's see, what you gain some memory. So I think you gain 2 memory, you trash 2 cards, and then you delete a level 5 or lower. Trash 3 cards, sorry, and then add a card from their security stack. And this thing dodges all removal, which is actually pretty sick. Yeah, playing it back out from your trash. I'm gonna give this a 4. This is actually really good. Artwork's pretty interesting. It's like a samurai sword in its hand. Yeah, this is a 4. This is actually a dangerous card, because obviously we're eventually going to get more Ravamons, and the fact that this plays any of them out is pretty good. Yeah, the fact that it just dodges everything on your opponent's turn because it deletes itself and basically just hides in your trash for the turn is pretty good. Moving on to Cherubimon. Evos for 4 on purple or green, or Evos for 3 on level 5 2-color green Digimon. Has Alliance like all of them. Also, I'm digging the artwork. That actually looks pretty cool. When Digivolving until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon and one of your other level 5 or lower Digimon gain on deletion. Play this card from your trash without paying its memory cost. That's pretty stupid. That's a really good effect. This is probably a 4.5. I'm glad that they limited it to itself and another level 5 or lower, but the issue is if you're not ending your turn when you evo into this, which there's a good chance you wouldn't be ending your turn because you could evo into this for like a reduced cost from all the other effects, you could evo that level 5 into a different mega, so you potentially just be bringing back 2 megas, so your opponent would have to out 2 megas twice, which is pretty hard to do. Yeah, this is a 4.5. That effect is really good. Moving on to our, I wouldn't quite call it the boss card of the Alter S deck, because there is Alter B, spoilers for those of you that don't know, but definitely a really good card. So it evos for 6 on a blue or red, like basically all of the Omnimons besides the Zwart options. And I guess the original Alter S as well, because that was black or red. But it can DNA from a blue and a red level 6 for 0, blah, blah, blah. When Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less, then return one of your opponent's level 6 or higher Digimon to the bottom of its owner's deck. Bot decking a level 6 or level 7 is really good. Potentially deleting something of 8k or lower is whatever, but the bot decking of the big stuff, that's really strong. And then all turns when this Digimon would leave play except by one of your effects, play 1 Blitz Greymon and or Crest Gurumon from this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying their memory cost, then place this card at the bottom of your security stack face down. So if you ever get this out against somebody, there's a decent chance they lose. There are ways around this, but the fact that the all turns effect would proc no matter what, like it could die by battle, it could die by an option, they could chaos degrade it into your security. Jokes on them, the all turns effect would interrupt that and it would actually go to the bottom of your security regardless of what they wanted to happen. And then you would play out the Blitz and Crest So you'd be able to like Alter-S them again. I'm assuming you had another one in your hand, or you were playing BT5 Gladiamon to fish this out of your security. I don't recommend that. That has like no synergy with the rest of the deck, but that'd be kind of cute. This is a 4. Just because the only way to go into this right now is the Alter-S deck. There's basically no other decks that you would have a blue and a red level 6 out to where you could go into this for free. Although, I apologize, you get all of these effects regardless of how you evo into it. It doesn't get extra stuff for DNAing. This is a 4.5 because you could play this in a deck with just the Blitz Greymon in it, and you would still get the Alterns effect where it plays the Blitz Greymon back out. So this is a 4.5. This is a really good card, just standalone. You could definitely play this in a Greymon Tribal deck and be pretty happy about it. And moving on to our Tamers, we have Madashida and Taikamiya, 4-cost Tamer. Your turn, when you play an Agumon or Gabumon, by suspending this Tamer, gain 1 memory. Seems pretty good. Your turn, once per turn, when one of your Digimon digivolves, if you have 1 or fewer Digimon in play and that Digimon has Greymon in its name, you may play Gabumon. If it has Garurumon, you may play Agumon from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. That's pretty good. So basically, you evo into your champion, proc this, play the other one from your hand or trash, and then tap it to gain a memory, and then your champion could proc, you evo into your champion, and then like you start your climb. You start your combo climb in the deck. Seems really good. I'm gonna give this a 3.5. This is really good within the archetype, but you basically can't play this outside of the archetype. Like there's not really a reason you would want to. Moving on to Kiriha and Nene. This card is also treated as Kiriha and Nene. Okay, I like that. So any cards that specify like in brackets those specific cards will still count. I was concerned about that whenever I read the dual name. Start of your main phase, if there are 2 more Digimon in play, gain 1 memory. Yours or your opponent's. That's pretty nice. All turns, when you would play one Digimon card with Blue Flare or Twilight in its traits and Digicost requirements, by suspending this Tamer, you may place 1 card from under your Tamers and 1 card from your trash as Digivolution cards for Digicross. This is probably going to be played in both decks, because that's just a generically good effect. This is a 4. This is definitely a really good card for both archetypes. I don't think you'd ever want to dual archetype it. I think you'd probably end up with bad feels if you did that, but yeah, it's a really good card. I would give this a 4. Moving on to Henry Wong and Shuchong Wong. Oh, they're brother and sister. I just made that connection. I don't know why it took me that long. Starting your main phase, if you have 1 or less Digimon in play, you may play 1 Terriermon or Lopmon from your hand without paying its memory cost. The Digimon played by this effect can't be digivolved, and at the end of your opponent's turn, delete that Digimon. Okay, I'll get back to that. Your turn, one of your Digimon in play that has Terriermon or Lopmon and Digivolution cards will Digivolve. By suspending this Tamer, reduce Digivolution card cost by 1. This seems okay. I think you'd obviously play this in the Alliance deck, I assume, because it would just give you free Alliance fodder. And I'm assuming that's the intention of playing the Lopmon or Terriermon and not letting you evo it and stuff. What's cool is the Cherubimon you could give that fodder the on deletion, like play it back effect, which is pretty sick. So I'm gonna give this a 3.5. This is definitely good within the archetype, but outside of the archetype, I don't think you would want to play this. Keenan Crier. That's an interesting looking Digivice. What is this guy's getup? I don't understand what he's wearing. Yeah, he looks wild. Start of your turn, so he's a memory setter. Okay, that's cool. Set your memory to 3. All turns, when your purple Digimon with Bravamon in its name or with Bird or Avion in one of its traits is deleted, by suspending this Tamer, draw 1. If that Digimon is deleted by an effect, gain 1 memory. All right, so full puzzle, we are drawing a card, gaining 2 memory, trashing 3 cards, deleting level 5 or lower. Okay, I'm starting to see how this would go. I think you'd probably play some number of Analog Youth in this deck as well, just so you could hatch again. So you could start to do it again on your next turn, or set up to do it again on your following turn. I'm gonna give this a 3. This is okay within the archetype, but like you honestly you wouldn't even need to play this card. Like you would obviously want to, just because like why wouldn't you? But you wouldn't need this card in the archetype in order to like get your combo off. So this is a 3. Moving on to Trident Gaia. This looks like a Victory Greymon attack. 8 cost red option. Main, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP. If a Digimon with 13,000 DP or more DP is deleted by this effect, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Securities activate the main effect. That's really good. I could see a world where you would play this over Gaia Force, assuming you even played Gaia Force. No one plays that card anymore. I'm gonna give this a 3.5, and the only reason it isn't higher is the fact that it still costs 8. I think once we start getting the ace cards and big removal options, like high cost removal options, will be kind of mitigated by the fact that you're going to be gaining memory back when you delete your opponent's ace Digimon. I think this will probably get better, but for the time being, this is I think this is a 3.5. This is definitely a really good effect, though. I like the trashing the security. That's pretty strong. And then on to, oh my god, what does this say? Adzi, Beast Blade, and Shining Dragon Bullet. They clearly just directly translated this from the Japanese name. It's an interesting name for sure. 3 cost blue-red option. Main, activate one of the effects below. If you have Crest Garurumon, you may Digivolve Agumon or Greymon into Blitz Greymon from your hand without paying its cost and ignoring the Digivolution requirements. If you have Blitz Greymon in play, you may Digivolve your Gabumon and Garurumon into Crest, ignoring the cost and Digivolution requirements. So this lets you warp Evo one of your guys into their Mega. The deck desperately needed this to be even remotely viable, in my opinion, because this means that you don't have to have the full 10 card combo in order to go into Alter S. You could just use this card to basically warp. This card combined with the Tamer is actually pretty strong. I'm going to give this a 3.5. This is definitely one of the key components of this deck that makes it actually like potentially viable. The security is you may play one Agumon or Gabumon from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. If this card also added to your hand from security, this would probably be a 4, because it would basically just set you up if you had the Tamer in play to just like bop your opponent. But yeah, definitely a 3.5. I like that card. I'm not a huge fan of the name, but it's a funny name. Moving on to Full Metal Blaze, 8 cost blue option. Main, return 2 of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to their owner's hand. Then if your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, return one of your opponent's level 6 or higher Digimon to the bottom of its owner's deck. Securities activate the main effect. Once again, this card does not interact with level 5s. It's really funny. The entire Z to Garurumon archetype from this set does not interact with level 5s. This card's really good. If you were so inclined to play like a blue-yellow security control deck, I could see you playing some number of this. I don't foresee this actually being played anything though, so I'm going to give this a 2.5. The potential's definitely there, but once again, I think the just lack of interaction with level 5s is definitely hurting this card. Moving on to Heaven's Judgment. 7 cost yellow option. While you control a green Digimon or Tamer, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. So this is definitely a Beelstar option since it's 7 cost. Main, activate the effect below. Then for each color among Digimon you have in play, activate the effect below an additional time. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP for the turn. Assuming you have one Digimon in play, this is minus 6,000 twice. The way this is worded is you could target 2 different Digimon with this effect, and if you had a 2-color Digimon in play, this is minus 6,000 3 times. If you have 3 colors, whatever, this adds up pretty quickly. This is actually a really good card. And then the security is minus 12,000 DP on one of your opponent's Digimon. Security effect isn't as good. There are definitely some Digimon that get over that threshold if they're swinging at your security, although if they're getting multiple checks, to potentially die the next security check. The card itself, though, just standalone, is definitely a 4.5. This is a really strong option, and the fact that it's a 7 cost is also increasing that. Moving on to Gaia Reactor. This is a Gaiomon attack, clearly. 6 cost black option. Main, choose one Digimon each player has in play with the highest play cost. Delete all Digimon other than the chosen Digimon. Security, activate this card's main effect. This card is insane. I think this card was under cost. I think it definitely is good that it didn't make it a 7 cost, and they probably didn't feel like it warranted being an 8 cost. If this were a 7 cost, this would definitely be played in Beelstar, but thankfully it's not. This card's really, really good. Obviously, most Black War strategies or War Gray strategies, most Greymon Tribal strategies are 1-stack decks, and if they get swarmed on by like Plant Fairy dot deck, like Bloom Lord, stuff like that, they could potentially have a hard time clearing that board. Being able to do this and just be like, hey, all that stuff's dead now, that's a really good card. I'm going to give this a 4. The fact that it doesn't require you to have like a Greymon in the name or anything like that in play, the securities activate the main effect. Oh, also in the fact that you get to choose. I forgot about that part. You get to choose the Digimon. So like if it's a tie, you get to choose the worse of the 2 Digimon your opponent has in play or the 3 Digimon. Yeah, this is definitely a 4. I really like this card. Also, the artwork's pretty sick. Hopefully we get an alt art of this in the future, like a full art, because I really like that pose. I'm sad this is uncommon because that means it's not going to be hollow. Moving on, 3-cost purple option, Tarnished Heroes. It's an interesting name. While you have a green Digimon or Tamer in play, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. Main, delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon, then place this card in your battle area. Main delay, your opponent may trash 1 option card from their hand if they don't gain 2 memory. I kind of hate this card. I think this is kind of trash. I'm gonna give this a 2. I think if we ever get like a true like hand control deck, and it has access to purple cards, which it most likely would be a purple based strategy, I think this could definitely see some play, but as it stands, I don't think this card's good enough to actually play in anything. Like, you have so many effects now in purple that delete level 3s just by chance, or just by happenstance. Like, yeah, this card's pretty mediocre. Also, the fact that your opponent can be like, no, you don't gain memory. Yeah, this is meh. I like the name of the card though. That's about it. Moving on to, I'm not even going to attempt to say that. By deleting one of your Digimon in play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a level less than or equal to the deleted Digimon's level. If you delete a Digimon card with a Ravamon in its name you have in play, play one Ravamon from your trash at the end of your opponent's turn without paying its memory cost. Security, delete one of your opponent's Digimon at the lowest level. This card's really ignorant. So I'm gonna give this a 3.5. So this is what you do after your Ravamon comes out and it doesn't have any sources, so it can't like delete itself. Yeah, this is definitely 3.5. This is I can see the deck is coming together in my head, and it seems like it'd be pretty annoying to play against. Moving on, Digital Translator, white option. This card is also treated as having plugin in its name, so you can play it off Sakuyamon and all that. While you have a Tamer in play, you may use this. You may this card. While you have a Tamer in play, you may this card without meeting its color requirements. I'm assuming that's a typo in DigimonCard.dev. Ideally, that's not actually what this card says when we get it in English. I guess I'll find out in a couple of days whenever I go to my locals. It wouldn't surprise me if that's actually what it says in English, though. Main, choose one of your level 6 Digimon in play. You may Digivolve the chosen Digimon into a level 6 Digimon card with a different name and that has the chosen Digimon's name in its name from your hand, ignoring Digivolution requirements and without paying its Digivolution cost. Wow, that is so complicated. Security, return one Digimon card from your trash to your hand and add this card to your hand. So obviously this was meant to be played in Sakuyamon.deck. Brains, like off the top of my head, I have seen this card before, but like I kind of thought it was meh. But as I was reading it again, the first thing that comes to mind, because I've been playing Greymon tribal decks for the past few formats for the most part, you could play this in Greymon tribal and you could evo War Greymon into Black War Greymon, which I feel like they probably didn't mean for that interaction to happen, because it's clearly supposed to be a Sakuyamon.deck card, but being able to evo War Greymon and a Black War Greymon is pretty sick. I don't know if it'd be worth running this card, maybe as a one-of, like a fun-of tech card. It'd be kind of a cute interaction. Nah, I'm gonna give this 2.5. This seems like it'd be funny, but outside of Sakuyamon.deck, and even in Sakuyamon.deck, I don't think it's that good. Yeah, it's 2.5. There's potential there for brokenness, especially as we get more and more Digimon. So you could evo War Greymon into Black War Greymon next to anybody. That'd be funny too. Yeah. Lots of Greymon tribal possibilities. Anyway, moving on. Our two secrets of the set. Omnimon Alter B, level 7 that evos. It is a black Digimon. So this could be played in black base like Ulti Cup decks in 2 months from now, because EX4 won't be legal in any of the Ultimate Cups this month, unfortunately. Digivolves on a level 6 black card for 5, 15,000 DP, pretty swole. Or Digivolves for 2 from level 7 if name contains Omnimon, so that's literally any Omnimon, that's pretty nice. When digivolving, de-digivolve 3 one of your opponent's Digimon, then choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose total play cost is 6 or less and delete them. De-evoing by 3 is pretty sick. I'm definitely digging this card. And then when attacking, by trashing up to 3 level 6 or higher cards from this Digimon's Digivolution cards. For each card trashed, delete one of your opponent's Digimon Entertainments with the lowest play cost. If 3 cards were trashed, trash the top 2 cards of your opponent's security stack. So I'm immediately, obviously this is meant to be played in the Alter S deck, but you could also play this in a Greymon tribal deck, specifically like a Black War tribal deck, and this would be a filthy top end. I'm really digging this card. This card's a 4.5. I'm really excited that this will be legal in the Ultimate Cups in 2 months. I might tinker with a Black War strategy that's black based, but yeah, this card's a 4.5. Like if this comes out, this is probably gonna hurt on your opponent, and the fact that it only evos for 5 is really nice. Moving on to Shine Greymon Ruin mode, also very excited for this card. 15,000 DP, evos on a purple or yellow level 6 for 5 memory, very nice. Or evos for 4 from Shine Greymon specifically. So if we ever get a Shine Greymon X, that will not evo on top of that for cheaper, unfortunately. When digivolving / on deletion, all of your opponent's Digimon get minus 5,000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. So notice that neither one of those effects are once per turn, so you could potentially do both of these in the same turn, and then you have a blanket effect on your opponent's field of minus 10,000 DP. That is pretty backbreaking, because most decks do not build a mega in the raising area before they promote. They typically build ultimates in the raising area, then promote, and then go into their megas. This would completely cut them out from being able to promote anything short of a mega from their raising area, and anything on their field that's not a mega is just devastated by this. Like this is a board wipe for most things that aren't megas. That effect alone is really broken. Then the end of attack, delete this Digimon, delete one of your opponent's Digimon, and recover +1. Then if you have a Tamer in play, hatch one Digi-Egg card to an empty space in your breeding area. That is really stupid. It has the Analog Youth effect where it hatches. The combo with this is you swing with Marcus Dame and then evo this for free, and then you swing with this, and you're probably going to survive the check. It's 15,000 DP, and you probably like minus your opponent's security Digimon, so like it's probably swinging over anything. It's only down to options. It would die. It would delete probably the only thing on your opponent's field that's bigger than 10k, and then everything else, if they even had anything else, is dead, and then will continue to stay dead until the end of their next turn, and you get to recover and hatch and like set up. Like this card is, I think, yeah, this card's a 5. Like this card is going to be played in a lot of different strategies. The fact that it's purple and yellow, like just really filthy. Yeah, this is a really good card. This is definitely a solid 5. Very cool that it's the final card in the set, but yeah, this card's going to be broken and very annoying to play against. But that's it for the EX4 set review. Hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy seeing this kind of content and want to come back for more. Until next time, see ya.